So depression is a demon because it is not your soul. It is a force that latches onto your energy, convincing you that life is heavy, dark, and hopeless. And it masks itself as reality or truth, but its real purpose is to disconnect you from your power, your joy, and your inner light. And it has very successfully done this and has been continuing to do this to so many people. About 10 years ago when I began my hypnosis practice, this was the majority of who would come to me was depression and anxiety. And at that time when I was working with this, I was not seeing this for the truth of what it really was. I was, taking people and regressing them back and having them deal with the issues and relieving them of their depression very, very quickly. But what I wasn't understanding was exactly what it was at that time. And so now I have seen it so much more clearly. So this demon of depression, it thrives in isolation. What happens when you're feeling bummed out? What do? You isolate yourself, and it will whisper to you that you're unworthy and that nothing matters and that you can't change. It saps your energy. It clouds your mind, and it convinces you to turn inward in ways that keep you small and invisible and stuck. Depression hijacks your perception, making temporary challenges feel eternal, and your potential seem completely unreachable. What happens when you are super depressed and you're in a moment, right? You're in 1 minute, and that minute could feel like the longest freaking minute of your life, because during that minute, what is present there is this feeling that this is never going to end, that the situation that I'm in is unfixable, unchangeable, and it truly has you so convinced that that is the truth because it is a demon. But depression, it's not your truth. It's a parasite. It's a shadow that feeds on unprocessed trauma. It feeds on self-doubt and the disconnection from your soul. And it only survives, remember this, it only survives when you forget who you are and forget that you are capable of transformation. When you witness it without judgment, bringing light and energy to your body and reconnect to your soul's truth, the demon will begin to dissolve. All we need to do is shed a light on it, and it can't survive in the light. It doesn't like the light. It loves the heavy darkness. The weight and the heaviness of it. This demon sits on the chest, it sits on the shoulders, and it sits in the heart. It makes everything feel heavy, exhausting, and impossible to lift. When I would be working with this, not realizing this whole time, it's been spiritual alchemy that I've really truly been working with. People will say, I will ask them, where do you feel this in your body? And it is literally heaviness sitting in somebody's body. They usually say, oh, it's in my chest, or it's, in my heart, or it's somewhere. It is actually tangible. You can actually physically feel it, and it feels not like you. Right? It is something other than yourself, although when it is present for such a long time, you will believe that it is you, but it is not. It is an outside force that is sitting its weight, its fullness on you, because when people are then healed and they leave and they're like, oh man, I don't have my depression anymore, that feeling that they previously had, that heaviness is also gone because it was never a part of them to begin with. It was just something that was temporarily there because it was being fed. And as long as we continue to feed these demons, they get their food. They ain't going anywhere. Now, depression, this demon, it will convince you to hide, to retreat, to disconnect from the world. Did you notice, if this has ever been the case with you, you stop texting people back. You stop going out and socializing. You don't want to even leave your house because it thrives when you feel alone and unseen and unsupported. So it is whispering in your ear, and it's telling you nothing's going to get better. You can't change this. It distorts reality so extremely so that temporary challenges feel permanent. And it will tell you this is permanent. There is no way out of it. It will whisper to you. It has a voice, and that voice is not yours. It is not yours. It is an entity that has attached itself to you. It blunts joy, pleasure, and motivation. It will actually make colors fade and laughter feel distance, and your energy will feel stuck. Now, I don't know about you, but when you're feeling elated and when you're feeling fabulous, the world looks beautiful, it's bright, you have fun, you laugh, you enjoy. But when that demon gets its hooks in you, something that would normally have given you some kind of pleasure, something you would have just normally derived pleasure from, it doesn't even have the same effect. You might even have the feeling of no feeling at some point because you numb yourself out so that you don't feel. Because you can't stand that feeling of feeling terrible, and sometimes we just numb ourselves out. Another thing it does is it constantly reminds you of perceived failures or flaws. It will make you question your worth and your purpose, and it will do this regularly. It could do this all day, every day. It could do this every day on the hour, every day on the minute. It will remind you, remember how you failed before? Remember how they didn't accept you before? Remember how that didn't pan out? Remember how this person left? Remember how that thing happened over here? It will remind you of every single negative thing, and it will drag you down into the gates of hell with it, because that is where it lives. That's its home. And for it is a comfortable place to be, and so it wants to make you as comfortable as possible because it doesn't want to be left there alone. It doesn't want you to stop feeding it. It doesn't want you to go away. It wants to keep its hooks into you. It will exaggerate negatives, minimize positives, cloud your clarity, and it will turn a small setback into a catastrophic narrative. It keeps you in cycles of rumination, repetitive thought, or indecision, and the demon's power grows when you feel like you're unable to act or move forward. This is what it thrives on. It will keep you so clouded and in the same thought loop for such a long time that you will forget what it was like before it ever entered your energy field, before it ever entered your life. You won't even remember what it used to be like before you were ruminating, before you used to think in this way. You won't even recall it. It feeds. Its food is your unresolved trauma, grief, and old wounds. And it thrives when you dwell on what was instead of reconnecting to what is. It literally drains your vitality, your creativity, and your desire for life, and it creates a sense of emptiness, or what we could look at as soul fatigue. And so today we are going to forgive this demon. Now, why would we forgive it? Because as long as we do not, we are feeding it the food that it is made of. We are giving it its life. And when we forgive it, we take away its charge, because it has served a purpose. It has served a purpose. And it has served many purposes, actually. It has shown you what happens when you don't deal with the things that are going on in your subconscious mind. It'll take over. It will show you that, hey, when you knew you were supposed to do something, when you were supposed to let something go, when you were supposed to take action on something, when you were supposed to do something and you didn't do it, it is going to remind you of that over and over and over and over again. Now, why would there be a demon of depression? Why would there be? Well, let's just imagine here for a second that you happen to be separated from the love of all that is, from the perfect, pure, flowing connection of that soul love, the elements of what we are made of. Let's imagine for a second that you thought, oh, you could do better than that, and so you were like, no, I don't need none of this, and you separated yourself from that love of all that is. And immediately you realized, I made a mistake. that was the worst choice I've ever made in my life. And so it put you into an immediate pit of despair that there is no coming back from. There is no way for this demon, for this energy, for that low vibration, because that's what it is it is a low entity. There is no way for it to ever reconnect with that love of all that is until something here in the future shifts and everything and everyone gets set free. And until that point, The only thing that we can do is have understanding and compassion and forgiveness for it, so that it takes away its charge, and so that it can no longer get its hooks into you, and so that it can no longer have any kind of control over your life. So this is what we're going to do here. So I am praying right now in this moment. But first of all, we're going to set an intention here that we are going to feel joy, elation, and relief by the end of this. So, demon of depression, I forgive you. Not only do I forgive you, but I compassionately understand exactly where you're coming from, because if I was separated from the love of all that is, I would be so depressed as well, I wouldn't even be able to make it through a day. If I was separated from the love of all that is, I wouldn't even want to be here. I wouldn't even want to be present in the world. So I understand that you want to drag down other people into this energy frequency with you. I understand you don't want to be alone. It's lonely down at those low resonating frequencies. I understand that. And I have so much compassion for you and the huge mistake that you made when you decided to disconnect yourself from the pure divine love. I understand, because it is everything. It is all healing. It is all wonderful. It is all powerful. It is everything. It can provide for you before you even know that you have a need and need to be provided for. And I understand that you are so cut off and separated from that is no longer something that you get to work with. And so I compassionately understand, and I compassionately forgive you completely right now. And as we do this, as we've done this, as it's already done, it's done. Now, moving forward, I ask Divine, any places where these low entity energies have been attached previously in the past, I ask and request that right now you replace them with joy, laughter, happiness, lightness, forgiveness, hope, and a desire to truly be here and to live a fulfilled life. And I ask that whoever is listening to this begins to love their life on a level that they have never understood before, so deeply. And then more and more understanding will come through to them, perhaps in their dreams, perhaps tonight, perhaps today, perhaps by a message or something that somebody else says to them. And that they will continually know that they are on the right path and that they are doing the right things. And I ask that whatever they are passionate about gets reignited, so that they can not only find their purpose, but remember it at the deepest levels, and remember themselves and the soul that they truly are, the beautiful light that they truly are. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you have not yet taken the childhood wound quiz, you may want to do that. It can illuminate for you any areas that can be lower frequency, that these darker entity energies can attach themselves to. And this is what we are eradicating. We are creating an era of peace and love. And it is our every loving thought that is a transforming influence on this planet. And so I am so happy to be able to assist you to remove all of this detrimental thinking from your mind, any low vibration frequencies or thoughts, and to bring you back into harmony with the love of all that is. I love you, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.